are listening to this right now, there is a good chance that you are tired in a way that doesn't always show on the outside. Life may still be moving. You may still be doing what needs to be done. You may still be showing up, answering messages, finishing tasks, and meeting expectations. And yet, somewhere underneath all of that motion, there is a quiet weariness that has settled in your heart. Not the kind of tiredness that comes from one long day, but the kind that builds slowly over time. The kind that comes from carrying too much for too long. Today's Bible verse speaks directly into that quiet place. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. These words are simple, but they carry more depth than they first appear to hold. At first glance, they may even feel confusing. Joy and strength are not words we usually connect with exhaustion. When you feel drained, joy can feel distant. When you feel weak, strength can feel out of reach. And yet, this verse brings them together in a way that invites you to pause and listen more closely. Many people misunderstand joy. We often think of joy as a feeling that comes when life is going well, when problems are solved, when stress fades, when everything finally feels light again. But the joy spoken of here is not shallow happiness or temporary relief. It is not dependent on circumstances lining up perfectly. It is something deeper, something steadier, something that remains even when life is heavy. Strength, too, is often misunderstood. We tend to think of strength as pushing through, holding it together, staying productive, and never slowing down. We admire strength that looks impressive on the outside. But that kind of strength has limits. It runs out. It gets depleted. And when it does, many people feel ashamed for needing rest, for needing help, or for simply feeling worn down. This verse offers a different kind of strength. Not one that demands more effort from you, but one that supports you when effort is no longer enough. It tells you that strength does not have to come from constant striving. It can come from joy, and not just any joy, but the joy of the Lord. That phrase may sound abstract at first, especially if you are used to measuring strength by productivity or emotional toughness. But consider this for a moment. What if strength is not always about pushing harder, but about being sustained? What if real strength is not found in forcing yourself forward, but in being quietly upheld when you no longer have the energy to carry yourself? There are seasons in life when joy feels distant not because something is wrong with you, but because you have been living under constant pressure. Pressure to perform, pressure to succeed, pressure to appear okay even when you are not. Over time, that pressure can slowly drain the life out of you. You may not notice it happening all at once. It often shows up subtly. A loss of motivation, a sense of heaviness, a quiet numbness, a feeling that even rest doesn't fully restore. In those moments, being told to just be strong can feel exhausting. Being told to stay positive can feel dismissive. But this verse does not ask you to manufacture joy. It does not demand that you pretend everything is fine. It points you toward a source of strength that exists outside of your own emotional reserves. The joy of the Lord is not something you have to create. It is something you receive. It is rooted in presence, not performance. It comes from knowing that you are seen, held, and sustained even when you feel weak. It is the quiet assurance that you do not have to earn your worth or prove your value through constant effort. Many people are running on empty without realizing it. They keep going because stopping feels unsafe. They stay busy because slowing down would force them to feel what they've been avoiding. But strength built on avoidance is fragile. Cracks under pressure. Strength rooted in joy, however, is different. It does not depend on denial. It grows even in honesty. Joy, in this sense, does not mean ignoring pain. It does not mean denying grief, frustration, or disappointment. It means that beneath those emotions, there is something steady holding you up. something that does not disappear when circumstances shift, something that remains even when answers are unclear. Think about how much energy it takes to constantly hold yourself together, to stay composed, to keep moving, to meet expectations. Over time, that effort becomes heavy. This verse gently invites you to consider another way of being, a way where strength does not come from tension, but from trust, where strength is not something you force, but something that flows. The joy of the Lord is your strength does not mean you will never feel tired again. It means that tiredness does not get the final word. It means that even when your energy is low, there is a deeper source sustaining you. One that does not rely on your mood, your success, or your ability to cope. This kind of joy is quiet. It does not demand attention. It does not announce itself loudly. Often, it shows up as calm in the middle of uncertainty, as peace in moments when you would normally feel overwhelmed, as the ability to keep going, not because everything is easy, but because you are no longer carrying everything alone. If you are listening to this while feeling worn down, let this verse meet you where you are. You do not need to feel joyful right now for this truth to apply to you. You do not need to be energized, hopeful, or optimistic. The joy spoken of here is not fragile. It is not dependent on how you feel in this moment. It exists even when you are exhausted. Strength that comes from joy is not loud. It does not look impressive. It is gentle, steady, and enduring. It holds you together quietly, keeps you from collapsing when things feel heavy. It allows you to breathe a little easier, even when nothing around you has changed. As you sit with these words, notice what comes up inside you. Perhaps resistance, perhaps longing, perhaps a sense of relief. There is no right response. Simply allow the idea to settle in your mind and heart. Strength does not have to mean constant effort. Joy does not have to mean constant happiness. And you do not have to do everything on your own. This verse is not asking you to change your circumstances. It is inviting you to change where your strength comes from, to stop relying solely on what you can produce, manage, or control, and to begin resting even slightly in something deeper. As this first part comes to a close, let these words remain with you. The joy of the Lord is your strength, not your productivity, not your ability to endure, not your ability to stay composed. Strength rooted in joy is quieter than you expect, but far more enduring than you imagine. And as we continue, we will gently explore what that kind of joy really looks like when life feels heavy and strength feels hard to find. Take a slow breath as we continue. There is no rush here, nothing you need to figure out right away. Just allow these thoughts to unfold gently, one after another, like waves that come without force. The verse we are sitting with remains the same, steady and quiet. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. As we move deeper, it helps to notice how unfamiliar this idea can feel in everyday life. For many people, joy feels like a reward, something that comes after problems are solved, after goals are reached, after pain has passed. We often tell ourselves, I'll feel joy once the season is over, or I'll rest once things calm down. Joy becomes postponed, pushed into the future, treated as something conditional. But the joy spoken of in this verse is not delayed. It is present. It does not wait for life to become easier. This is where many people struggle to connect with the idea. When life feels heavy, joy can seem inappropriate, even unrealistic. You may wonder how joy could exist alongside stress, grief, or uncertainty. But the joy of the Lord is not emotional excitement. It is not constant cheerfulness. It is something deeper than mood. It is a settled assurance that you are held, even when your emotions are unsettled. Think about how often your strength depends on how you feel. On good days, you have energy. On bad days, everything feels harder. When motivation is high, you can push through challenges. When motivation drops, even simple tasks feel exhausting. This kind of strength rises and falls constantly. It is fragile. It depends on internal and external conditions aligning just right. The joy of the Lord offers a different foundation. It does not rise and fall with circumstances. It remains steady even when your emotions fluctuate. This is why it can be called strength. Not because it removes difficulty, but because it supports you through it. It becomes something you lean on rather than something you try to generate. There are moments when life strips away the things you normally rely on for stability. Plans fall apart. Expectations change. Support systems shift. In those moments, many people realize how much of their strength came from things that were never guaranteed. When those supports disappear, you may feel exposed, uncertain, and weak. This verse speaks into that vulnerability with gentleness, not pressure. Joy, in this sense, is not something loud or visible. It does not require you to smile through pain or deny what hurts. It often shows up quietly, almost unnoticed. A sense that you can keep breathing. A calm that settles in the middle of chaos. A resilience that surprises you because you didn't think you had it. This kind of joy does not erase sorrow. It exists alongside it. You can grieve and still be held. You can feel overwhelmed and still be sustained. The joy of the Lord does not demand that you choose between honesty and hope. It allows space for both. Many people feel guilty when they are not joyful. They assume something is wrong with them spiritually. They think they are failing if they don't feel uplifted or positive. But this verse is not a command to feel joy. It is a statement of where strength comes from. It is descriptive, not demanding. It tells you what is available, not what you must produce. Consider how relieving that can be. Strength does not depend on your emotional state. It does not require you to feel a certain way. It flows from a source that is not exhausted by your weakness. When you stop trying to force joy, you make room for a deeper kind to emerge naturally. There is a quiet freedom in realizing that you do not have to be strong in the way the world defines strength. You do not have to hold everything together perfectly. You do not have to keep proving that you can handle it all. Strength rooted in joy allows you to soften without collapsing, to rest without giving up, to pause without fear. Many people are afraid that if they slow down, everything will fall apart. They worry that rest equals failure, that letting go means losing control. But the joy of the Lord offers strength that does not depend on constant vigilance. It allows you to release the tension you've been carrying and trust that you are still supported. Joy also reshapes how you respond to difficulty. When strength comes from constant effort, every obstacle feels heavier. Every setback feels personal. But when strength flows from joy, challenges no longer define you. They become part of the journey rather than a verdict on your worth or ability. This does not mean life suddenly feels easy. It means life feels more spacious. There is room to breathe, room to feel, room to be human. Joy creates that space. It gives you the ability to stay present instead of being consumed by fear or regret. You may notice that this kind of joy grows slowly. It does not arrive all at once. It deepens over time as you stop resisting your own limits, as you allow yourself to be honest about what you can and cannot carry, as you begin to trust that strength does not always require effort. If you are listening and thinking, "I don't feel joyful at all," that is okay. This verse is not invalidated by how you feel right now. Joy does not always announce itself emotionally. Sometimes it is simply the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still listening, still open to something deeper. The joy of the Lord can be present even when your heart feels numb. It can exist even when you are unsure what you believe or how you feel. It is patient. It does not force itself. It waits quietly, ready to support you when you stop pushing yourself beyond your limits. As we move forward, let go of the idea that joy must look a certain way. Let go of the pressure to feel something specific. Instead, allow yourself to notice what steadies you, what calms you, what helps you endure without becoming hard or closed off. That steadiness is part of the strength this verse speaks of. You do not need to reach for joy aggressively. You do not need to chase it. Strength rooted in joy meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. It is not impressed by your effort, nor disappointed by your fatigue. It simply remains. Let these thoughts settle slowly. There is nothing to fix right now, nothing to achieve. Just an invitation to consider that strength may not come from pushing harder, but from resting more deeply in something that does not run out. The joy of the Lord is your strength, not a future promise, but a present reality. And as we continue, we will explore how this quiet joy begins to reshape the way you move through everyday life, especially when energy is low and the path ahead feels uncertain. If you are still here, still listening, it means something inside you is willing to slow down. That willingness matters more than you may realize. As we continue, let the same verse remain quietly present in your thoughts. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. Not as a slogan to remember, but as a gentle truth to sit with, especially as we look more closely at what happens when strength feels completely depleted. There are moments in life when you don't just feel tired, you feel empty. Not dramatic emptiness, but a subtle lack of energy, motivation, and emotional capacity. You still function, but without enthusiasm. You still move forward, but without direction. This kind of exhaustion often comes after long seasons of responsibility, pressure, and emotional labor. It builds quietly, unnoticed, until one day you realize that what used to feel manageable now feels heavy. In those moments, many people respond by trying harder. They push themselves to be more disciplined, more productive, more positive. They tell themselves they just need to get through the next day, the next week, the next challenge. But pushing when you are already depleted often deepens the exhaustion. Treats weakness as a problem to fix rather than a signal to listen. This is where the verse becomes especially meaningful. It does not tell you to find more strength within yourself. It does not tell you to push past your limits. Instead, it redirects the source of strength entirely. It suggests that when your own energy runs out, strength can still exist. Not because you are strong enough, but because joy does not come from the same place as effort. The joy of the Lord does not ask you to ignore your exhaustion. It acknowledges it. It meets you in it. It does not shame you for feeling weak or worn down. Instead, it offers a different kind of support, one that does not depend on your capacity to keep going. Many people associate joy with excitement or happiness, but that understanding can make joy feel inaccessible during difficult seasons. If joy is defined as feeling good, then it disappears the moment life becomes painful. But the joy spoken of in this verse is not emotional stimulation. It is a deeper sense of being anchored, even when emotions are unstable. This joy shows up not as excitement, but as endurance. Not as laughter, but as peace. Not as motivation, but as steadiness. It allows you to keep showing up without burning yourself out. It allows you to rest without guilt. It allows you to accept your limits without losing hope. When strength is rooted in effort alone, it is constantly under threat. One unexpected challenge can drain it. One difficult season can break it. But when strength flows from joy, it becomes less fragile. It is no longer tied to circumstances or performance. It becomes something that holds you together quietly, even when everything else feels uncertain. This kind of strength does not announce itself. It is not dramatic. Often, you only notice it in hindsight. You look back and realize that you made it through something you didn't think you could handle. Not because you were exceptionally strong, but because something sustained you beyond your own effort. Joy also changes how you relate to weakness. Instead of seeing weakness as failure, you begin to see it as part of being human. You stop fighting your limits and start respecting them. You allow yourself to rest without fear that everything will fall apart. And in that space, strength begins to return, not all at once, but gradually. There is a quiet courage in allowing yourself to be supported, in admitting that you cannot do everything on your own, in letting go of the need to constantly prove your resilience. The joy of the Lord creates room for that courage. It reassures you that you are not defined by how much you can handle. As you listen, you may begin to notice small shifts, a softening in your shoulders, a slowing of your breath, a sense that you don't have to rush. These are not dramatic changes, but they matter. They are signs of strength returning in a gentler form. This verse does not promise a life without struggle. Promises something more realistic and more sustaining. Promises that even in struggle, you are not alone. That even when your own strength fades, there is something deeper holding you steady. Let this part settle without pressure. There is nothing to apply or achieve, just an invitation to reconsider what strength really means in your life. To allow the possibility that joy can exist quietly beneath fatigue, and that this quiet joy can carry you further than constant effort ever could. As we continue, allow yourself to stay unhurried. There is nothing you need to hold tightly right now. The same verse remains with us, steady and unchanged. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. In this part, we move into a deeper and sometimes more difficult truth, that joy does not depend on circumstances becoming better, clearer, or easier. This can feel challenging to accept, especially if you have been waiting for relief. Many people quietly tell themselves that joy will come later, after the problem is solved, after the pain fades, after life finally settles down. Joy becomes something postponed, something conditional. But life rarely offers a perfect moment where everything is resolved at once. If joy depends on ideal circumstances, it will almost always feel out of reach. The joy spoken of in this verse does not wait for life to become calm. It does not require clarity, closure, or certainty. It exists even when questions remain unanswered, even when grief is present, even when circumstances feel unfair or unfinished. This does not mean that pain disappears. It means that pain is no longer the only thing present. Many people assume that joy and sorrow cannot coexist. They believe that if they feel joy, they are minimizing their pain, or if they acknowledge pain, they must let go of joy. But real life is more complex than that. You can carry grief and still be sustained. You can feel sadness and still experience peace. You can be uncertain and still feel held. This kind of joy does not rush you toward positivity. It does not pressure you to look on the bright side. Instead, it creates space where you can be honest without falling apart. It allows sorrow to be acknowledged without letting it define everything. Joy becomes the quiet strength that keeps you from being consumed by what hurts. Think about how often circumstances are used to measure your emotional state. When things go well, you feel okay. When they don't, everything feels heavier. This pattern can make life feel unstable, constantly rising and falling. But joy rooted in the Lord introduces a different rhythm, one that remains steady even as circumstances shift. This does not mean you stop caring about what happens in your life. It means your sense of stability is no longer entirely dependent on outcomes. You are no longer emotionally tethered to every change. Joy becomes an anchor rather than a reaction. There are seasons where circumstances remain difficult for a long time. chronic stress, ongoing uncertainty, loss that does not quickly resolve. In those seasons, relying on temporary happiness is not enough. You need something deeper, something that does not require constant emotional energy, something that supports you quietly, day after day. The joy of the Lord functions in that way. It does not fluctuate dramatically. It does not demand attention. It is not loud. It is often felt as steadiness rather than excitement, as the ability to keep moving gently forward without becoming numb or overwhelmed. This joy also changes how you interpret hardship. Instead of seeing difficulty as proof that something is wrong with you or your life, you begin to see it as part of the human experience. Pain no longer feels like a personal failure. It becomes something you move through rather than something that defines you. When joy becomes your strength, you are less likely to panic when circumstances shift. You still feel disappointment. You still feel frustration, but you are not undone by them. There is a sense that you can endure without hardening yourself or losing hope. This is especially important in moments of loss. Loss can shake everything you thought was stable. It can make the world feel unfamiliar and unsafe. In those moments, being told to stay positive can feel isolating. But joy rooted in the Lord does not minimize loss. It sits with it. It allows grief to unfold while still offering quiet support underneath. Joy, in this sense, is not an emotional high. It is a presence, a reassurance that even when circumstances are painful, you are not abandoned, that there is still meaning, still connection, still strength available to you. You may notice that this kind of joy often becomes more apparent in hindsight. At the time, you may feel unsure, tired, or sad, but later you realize that you were sustained in ways you didn't consciously notice, that you were carried through moments that could have overwhelmed you, that something kept you grounded when everything felt unstable. This realization does not erase the difficulty of what you went through, but it reframes it. It allows you to see that strength was present even when you felt weak, that joy existed even when happiness did not, that you were supported even when circumstances were unresolved. Letting go of the idea that joy depends on circumstances can be deeply freeing. It means you no longer have to wait for permission to feel steady. You no longer have to postpone peace. You no longer have to tell yourself that rest and calm must wait until everything is fixed. Joy becomes something you carry with you, not something you chase. Strength becomes something you receive, not something you constantly produce. Life may still be complicated. Pain may still exist, but you are no longer facing it alone or unsupported. As this part comes to a close, allow this truth to rest gently in your mind. Circumstances do not have to improve for strength to be present. Joy does not require perfection. It does not disappear in sorrow. It remains, quietly sustaining you through what you cannot change yet. As we move into this next part, stay gentle with yourself. There is no expectation here, no pressure to feel or understand anything immediately. Let the verse remain quietly present, like a steady background to your thoughts. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. In this part, we begin to notice how this joy works in subtle, almost invisible ways, especially in the ordinary moments of daily life. Most of the time, strength does not arrive dramatically. It does not show up as a sudden burst of energy or a clear emotional shift. Instead, it often appears quietly, woven into small decisions and simple movements. Getting out of bed when you don't feel like it. Responding with patience when you feel drained. Continuing forward even when motivation is low. These moments may seem insignificant, but they are signs of a deeper strength at work. The joy of the Lord often expresses itself as persistence without harshness. You keep going, not because you are forcing yourself, but because something within you remains steady. You may not feel inspired. You may not feel particularly hopeful, but you are still able to take the next step. That ability is not accidental. It is not just discipline. It is support. Many people underestimate how exhausting it is to live in constant self-reliance. To believe that everything depends on your effort, your mindset, your resilience. Over time, that belief becomes heavy. It turns every challenge into a test of worth, every setback into a personal failure. But when strength flows from joy, the weight shifts. You are no longer the sole source of your endurance. This joy does not remove responsibility from your life, but it softens how you carry it. You still show up. You still care, but you are less driven by fear and more guided by steadiness. You stop rushing through life as if everything is urgent. You begin to move at a pace that allows you to breathe. Often, this shift is so gradual that you don't notice it happening. You simply realize one day that you are reacting differently than you used to. Things that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Not because they are easier, but because you are not facing them with the same internal tension. Joy has quietly changed how you relate to pressure. This kind of strength is especially evident in routines, in showing up consistently rather than dramatically, in continuing to care even when emotions fluctuate, in choosing gentleness when frustration would be easier. These are not flashy forms of strength, but they are enduring ones. Joy also has a way of restoring perspective. When you are exhausted, everything can feel urgent and heavy. Small problems feel enormous. Minor setbacks feel devastating. But joy introduces space between you and what you are facing. It allows you to respond rather than react, to pause rather than panic. You may notice that when joy becomes your strength, you are less critical of yourself. You stop demanding perfection. You allow yourself to be human. You recognize that rest is not weakness, and limits are not failure. This self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It is a sign that strength is no longer coming from pressure. There is also a quiet hope embedded in this joy. Not the kind of hope that insists everything will turn out exactly as planned, but the kind that trusts you will be carried through whatever comes. This hope does not erase uncertainty, but it prevents uncertainty from consuming you. In difficult seasons, joy often expresses itself as the ability to stay present. Instead of constantly escaping into distraction or worry, you find moments where you can simply be. You may still feel pain. You may still feel tired, but you are not constantly fighting those feelings. You allow them to exist without letting them define you. This presence is powerful. It grounds you, keeps you connected to your own life rather than detached from it. It allows healing to happen slowly, without force. Joy creates the conditions where strength can return naturally, rather than being demanded prematurely. Many people think strength means never slowing down, but often slowing down is exactly what allows strength to rebuild. Joy gives you permission to do that. It reassures you that you are still supported even when you pause, that you do not need to earn rest by exhausting yourself first. If you reflect on your own life, you may begin to notice moments where you were carried in ways you didn't recognize at the time. Times when you should have collapsed but didn't. Times when you felt held together despite confusion or fatigue. Those moments are not proof of your toughness. They are signs of a deeper strength at work. The joy of the Lord does not demand recognition. It does not insist you label it or analyze it. It simply continues to support you quietly, faithfully, day after day. Even when you forget about it, even when you doubt it, even when you feel disconnected. As this part comes to a close, allow yourself to acknowledge the ways you are still standing. Not with pride, but with gentleness. You are here. You are listening. You are open. That in itself is evidence of strength, even if it doesn't feel impressive. Let the idea settle that you do not have to feel joyful to be sustained by joy. You do not have to feel strong to be supported by strength. The joy of the Lord is working in you quietly, often beyond your awareness, carrying you through moments you could not carry alone. Take another slow breath as we continue. Nothing has changed since the last moment except that you are still here, still listening, still allowing yourself to rest inside these words. The verse remains steady, unchanged, and patient. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. In this part, we gently turn our attention to the quiet spaces of life, especially the moments when no one else is watching. There are times when strength is needed most, not in public, but in private. In the quiet of the evening, in the early hours of the morning, in those moments when the noise fades and your thoughts become louder. These are often the moments when fatigue feels heaviest, when questions surface, when worries replay themselves without interruption, and when the effort of simply being feels exhausting. In these quiet moments, many people feel the urge to distract themselves, to stay busy, to keep noise in the background. Silence can feel uncomfortable because it brings you face to face with what you've been carrying. But the joy of the Lord often meets you precisely here, not in the noise, but in the stillness, not in distraction, but in presence. This joy does not rush to fix your thoughts or silence your worries immediately. It does something more subtle. It sits with you, keeps you company. It reminds you that you are not alone in the quiet, that even when your mind feels unsettled, there is something steady beneath the surface. Strength in these moments does not look like having answers. It looks like staying present without being overwhelmed. It looks like allowing thoughts to pass without chasing them. It looks like breathing through uncertainty instead of resisting it. This kind of strength is gentle, but it is real. Many people underestimate how draining it is to constantly battle their own thoughts, to replay conversations, to imagine future problems, to relive past regrets. Over time, this internal noise can wear you down. Joy offers relief not by erasing thoughts, but by softening their grip. Create space where thoughts can exist without controlling you. You may notice that when joy becomes your strength, your relationship with uncertainty begins to change. You no longer feel the need to solve everything immediately. You become more comfortable with not knowing. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop forcing clarity before it arrives. In the quiet, joy often shows up as reassurance. A sense that even if nothing is resolved tonight, you are still safe, still held, still supported. This reassurance allows your body to relax, even when your mind is still processing. Over time, this relaxation becomes healing. There is also a deep kindness in this kind of joy. It does not judge you for your thoughts or emotions. It does not demand progress. It allows you to be exactly where you are without pressure. That kindness itself becomes a source of strength. Many people believe they must earn rest by completing everything first. That rest is a reward, not a necessity. But joy reframes rest as something essential, something allowed even in the middle of unfinished work and unanswered questions. Strength grows when you allow yourself to rest without guilt. As you spend time in quiet moments supported by joy, you may notice subtle shifts. Your breathing slows, your body softens, your thoughts lose some of their urgency. These are not dramatic changes, but they matter deeply. They signal that strength is returning in a sustainable way. Joy also helps you trust the unfolding of time. Instead of demanding immediate resolution, you begin to allow life to move at its own pace. You accept that some things take longer to heal, to change, to understand. This patience is not passive. It is rooted in trust that you are being carried through the process. In these quiet moments, you may also feel emotions you have been avoiding. Sadness, loneliness, grief, Joy does not push these emotions away. It makes space for them without letting them overwhelm you. It reminds you that feeling deeply does not make you weak. It makes you human. Strength that comes from joy allows you to sit with your emotions without becoming lost in them. You can acknowledge what hurts without being consumed by it. You can honor your experience without letting it define your entire identity. As this part comes to a close, notice the quiet strength in simply staying present, in listening, in allowing yourself to be supported without needing to do anything in return. This is not a small thing. It is a profound form of endurance. Let the verse remain with you as you rest in this moment. The joy of the Lord is your strength, especially here, especially now, especially when things are quiet and unresolved. Stay with this moment a little longer. There is no need to hurry forward. The same truth continues to hold us gently. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. In this part, we turn towards something many people struggle with deeply, the pressure to appear strong, okay, and unaffected, even when that is far from the truth. From a young age, many of us learn that strength means hiding weakness. We learn to keep going, to stay composed, to not burden others with what we are feeling. Over time, this becomes automatic. You smile when you are tired. You say you are fine when you are not. You keep functioning, even when something inside you is slowly wearing down. This kind of strength looks admirable on the outside, but it often comes at a quiet cost. The joy of the Lord offers an alternative. It does not require performance. It does not ask you to pretend. Many people resist this idea because vulnerability feels risky. If you stop pushing, what happens? If you admit you are tired, will things fall apart? But often the opposite is true. When you stop forcing yourself beyond your capacity, strength begins to return naturally. Not all at once, but in a way that is sustainable. Joy supports this process quietly. It reassures you that you are not defined by productivity or resilience, that you are allowed to rest without losing your place in the world, that you are still worthy of care even when you are not performing at your best. This reassurance lifts a burden many people do not realize they are carrying. You may notice that when you allow yourself to be more honest about your limits, your body responds. Tension eases. Breathing becomes deeper. Thoughts slow down. These physical shifts are not separate from strength. They are signs of it. They show that your system is no longer in constant defense mode. Joy also changes how you relate to expectations. Instead of trying to meet every demand perfectly, you begin to discern what truly matters. You stop expending energy on what drains you unnecessarily. You become more intentional with your time, your attention, and your emotional investment. This discernment is not selfish. It is wise. When strength is rooted in joy, you are less reactive. You do not need to prove yourself in every interaction. You do not need to defend your worth constantly. You become quieter inside, more grounded. This inner stability allows you to show up with authenticity rather than exhaustion. There is also a gentleness that emerges when you stop demanding constant strength from yourself. You become more compassionate toward your own struggles and the struggles of others. You recognize that everyone is carrying something unseen. This compassion deepens connection and reduces isolation. Joy does not remove responsibility from your life, but it removes the harshness with which you carry it. You still care, you still act, but you are no longer driven by fear of failure or rejection. Strength becomes something you inhabit rather than something you perform. In this way, joy reshapes your identity. You are no longer defined by how much you can endure. You are defined by the steadiness with which you live, by your willingness to remain open rather than hardened, by your ability to rest without guilt. As you sit with these thoughts, consider what it would feel like to stop proving and start receiving. to allow yourself to be supported rather than constantly self-supported. This shift does not happen instantly. It unfolds gradually, through small moments of honesty and rest. The joy of the Lord is patient with this process. It does not rush you. It does not demand transformation overnight. It simply remains present, offering strength that does not depend on performance. As this part comes to a close, allow yourself to release the pressure to appear strong. You do not have to carry that alone anymore. Strength rooted in joy is quieter, kinder, and far more enduring. As we arrive at this final part, allow everything to slow even more. There is nothing left to reach for, nothing left to solve. Just a quiet invitation to rest in what has already been spoken. The verse remains the same, gentle and unwavering. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8 verse 10. Let these words feel less like something to understand and more like something to rest inside. By now, you may notice that strength no longer feels like pressure. It no longer feels like something you must generate or maintain. Instead, it feels like something that holds you, something steady beneath the surface of your life. This is the kind of strength that does not demand effort. It does not rush you forward. It simply remains present, even as everything else shifts. Life will continue to change. There will be days when energy returns and days when it fades again. There will be moments of clarity and moments of confusion. There will be joy that feels light and joy that feels quiet. None of that invalidates what this verse offers. Strength rooted in joy is not fragile. It does not disappear when emotions fluctuate. It stays. This kind of joy does not insist on happiness. It does not require constant gratitude or optimism. It allows you to be exactly where you are without fear that you are doing something wrong. It reassures you that even in uncertainty, even in weariness, you are still supported. You may realize that this joy feels more like belonging than emotion, a sense that you are not outside of care, not forgotten, not left to manage everything alone. This belonging creates a deep calm, one that does not depend on circumstances improving. It exists simply because you are held. Strength flows naturally from this calm. You begin to trust that you can face what comes next, not because you have all the answers, but because you are not facing it alone. You stop bracing yourself constantly. You allow life to unfold without tightening against it. This openness is not weakness. It is resilience in its most sustainable form. As this reflection comes to a close, you do not need to take anything with you except this gentle truth. Strength does not always look like effort. Joy does not always look like happiness. Sometimes strength looks like staying open. Sometimes joy looks like peace in the middle of uncertainty. Wherever you are right now, tired, hopeful, unsure, calm, or somewhere in between, let this verse meet you there. Let it remind you that you do not need to become someone else to be sustained. You do not need to push harder to be strong. You are already being held. The joy of the Lord is your strength, not just for one moment, but quietly, steadily over time. Let that strength remain with you as you rest, as you move forward, and as you simply continue being human.